Hard sports all plays. 365, we making the plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays. Network. Hard sports all plays. Network. We on top of our game. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays.
Well, good evening and welcome to the All Sports All Plays Network. This is ASAP Real Talk. I'm joined with the one and only Chris Brown. What's up with it, Chris?
What's up? What's up? How you living?
Oh, man, everything good over here. All right, and we also joined one of our newest analysts on the network, Landon. Landon, tell the people what's up.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
All right, and want to welcome to the show. He'll be filling in for Will. Brian, what's up? Tell the people hello.
What it is, what it ain't, what it's gonna be, people.
I like that one. And I distill that right there.
All right. Well, got to give us a little shout out to the people who's sponsoring this show before we get things rolling. We have Suzanne's Paparazzi, Jewelry and more. You can call them at 541-294-5218. Promo code 160920. Hey, Chris,
Yes, sir.
Tell the folks what we do over here at the ASAP Network. Just tell them what we do over here, man.
I got it. Listen, I see 10 people watching right now, and I see the numbers keep growing. For everybody that's watching us live, what I want you to do is comment on this video, like this video, like the page, share the page. Here at ASAP Network, what we do is at the end of the month, we tally everything up. We're going to crown that person the viewer of the month. You're going to get your very own free, ready, show them, ASAP Network t-shirt. This t-shirt fits nice, it feels nice, and when you get it, it got that new car smell. If you got a car, you know what I mean.
Yes, sir. All right, how about what if they're afraid to, put their comment on here and all that good stuff, but they still want a t-shirt? What do they have to do then?
I'll say again, thank you for the support. Even if you don't want to comment, please share our page, like our page. You could just message us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Search our $14.99 plus shipping and handling. Like I said, $14.99 plus shipping and handling. You're going to get your very own ASAP Network t-shirt.
All right. Let's get into some of these comments that's coming in pretty early. Will Poston, he says, my man Brian Crawford making his debut, guys, is going to be a blessing to the ASAP Network. Brennan Rush, Eagle flying high behind the next big thing. Mr. Hurts 1-0. Adam, I'm sorry, you cannot have a shirt. You already have one, by the way. And Joshua said, Packers, baby, Packers. And then he said he needs a shirt ASAP. Yo, Joshua, I think you're in contact with Chris Brown. Give it him, up. And he'll get you taken care of. All right, Brian, Landon, this is how we start off our show. Let's do some NFL hot takes. Chris Brown, since you're the veteran of the show, hey, we're going to let you roll with it first, buddy.
Okay. Hot take. Where do I want to begin? So right now, the Cleveland Browns are playing the Baltimore Ravens, right? And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But my hot take is that the Cleveland Browns, in their next 3 games, they're going to go undefeated. They're going to beat the Baltimore Ravens tonight. They're going to destroy the Giants. They're going to destroy the Jets. In their last game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? And then I'm going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've been struggling. They lost, their last 2 games. They go against Cincinnati, which they should win, but they go against the Colts, which I see them losing to. Then they have the Browns to end out the season. And that's going to be the game to fight for the number 1 spot in the division. And my hot take is that the Cleveland Browns will come back and become the number 1 team in the NFC North. AFC North. Like I'm telling you, the Cleveland Browns are it. When I think about the Cleveland Browns, for some reason, I don't have a lot of questions about the Browns, but I have a lot of questions about the Steelers. I have more questions about the Steelers than I do about the Browns. I don't know what it is. I cannot believe I'm saying this in 2020. I'm more comfortable with the Cleveland Browns than I am with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, when I look at the Steelers, I love their defense. I don't trust their offense. When I look at the Browns, it's 50-50. You know, I'm not in love with their defense. I like them, but I love their offense. Their offense can win you games in the playoffs. So I do believe the Cleveland Browns will end out the season 4-0. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to lose to the Browns in week 17. They're going to lose to the the Colts to the week 16. They're not going to get that number 1 seed. Man, I don't know about y'all. I don't trust Pittsburgh. And lately, I've been finding myself trusting Cleveland week after week after week. And I say this, they pull this victory off tonight, they are a legit team. And I'm not going to rant about them too much. But just know I'm liking Cleveland and what they're doing right now. If they win tonight, I can guarantee it. They're going to win that division.
My man, you got a heat check going on right there.
Ooh, that's what you call a hot take. Hey, this dude is LeVar Ball. He said, I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Landon, do you have a hot take?
Yeah, and I'm going to look at the Washington football team here. I think they'll go to beat the Seahawks this week. I think they're going to go and have an undefeated season as well. I don't know their schedule. I just like the way they're playing. And I can see them getting that playoff spot and maybe doing something in the playoffs. We'll see.
All right, Brian, do you have a hot take?
My hot take is going to be Derrick Henry for MVP.
I like that. I like that.
That's
like
man
that.
is a beast. He's a workhorse. And anybody want to put numbers against numbers, that man is doing it. He's doing his work. Period. Point blank.
Indeed.
I'm gonna give my hot take for the ladies and gentlemen. We seen Chris's Philadelphia Eagles beat up on the New Orleans Saints yesterday, and I'm not talking about the Eagles. I'm about to talk about the Saints.
Thank you.
We know the Saints have that elite defense. Yes, we know they have the weapons in Camaro. Yes, we know Michael Thomas is there. But guess what? We said it for the show. Without Drew Brees, that team is going nowhere. Because Chris Brown said it weeks ago. Hill was not the answer. Even though you won the games you won, but we can say that the competition was not where it was supposed to be. They did not play against high competition. But when you had a Jameis Winston in there who has experience, who was not afraid of the moment, who can come in there and make plays when plays need to be made, because we all know Hill is not going to throw the ball downfield. If you would have did that, maybe you would have beat on a Philadelphia Eagles team. But if Drew Brees did not come back, that team is over. All right, as we was going on, you guys have something to say?
Now I just want to, look at some of these comments we got right now because they're booming. They're booming. Kendall, I see some of your comments. We're definitely going to address that later on in the show. What else we got here? They're not beating Baltimore. I don't know. I'm liking them being Baltimore, Alex. We could definitely talk about it after this game, but I'm liking them getting the victory.
I agree.
This is not an Eagles slander show. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Today is not the day. Today is not the day. Coach Cam, I see you comment. I told you about the Browns. You did tell us. I thought my Eagles should have beat them. Both them beating my Eagles, they're just in prime spot to get number one in that division, and they looking like the number one team in that division. I cannot lie. We'll talk about some of these comments later. Let's move on.
Hey, I agree with this one. This is better than Fox.
Guarantee it, because we bring something that no other, network has. A consistent, delusional take. And that's what Freddie Henderson is here to do. He's here to tell you everything that makes no sense, that is not true. That's Freddie's job on this network. He doesn't bring real talk. He brings delusional talk. But, Freddie, I'm not going to slander you no more. Let's move on.
All right, let's roll. Man, right now we have a Monday night football game going on. We have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cleveland Browns. And right now, man, I must say this game is competitive. It is going back and forth. It's a dogfight. It's a hard-nosed game. It's a division game. And a team on here, his playoff hopes is on the line, and it's a must-win game. Chris Brown, what is your quick thoughts on this game so far?
I mean, we see right now, Joshua, this is not the time. I see a comment. This not the time. This not the time. But, getting back to this game right now, Ravens are up. They just scored. But when I look at something, I'm looking at Lamar Jackson. He's taking 4 sacks right now in the first half. You know, when I was talking about I like the Browns a little bit more than I like the Steelers, we're seeing this Brown defense come alive right now. We're seeing them get after their quarterback. We know what they're going to do on the offensive end. You know, I just can't wait to the second half because I want to see what quarterback is going to be able to win a game. We know what Lamar Jackson can do in his legs, but if it comes out, you know, I trust Baker Mayfield, as crazy as it sounds, to win it's crazy, but to throw, you know, a couple of nice passes and win the Browns the game. I love Lamar Jackson, but it is not because of him. I said this, you know, time after time after time. Lamar Jackson play makes me sick. The play calling makes me sick. The play calling makes me sick. The fact that they still haven't brought in a wide receiver makes me sick. You know, I understand that you got so many running backs. You want to run the ball, but it's going to get a time you're down 14 points in the fourth quarter. You cannot run the ball and take 6 minutes to score. Lamar Jackson got to be able to make plays, and with this play call, and honestly, with him not being able to show off his arm, I don't know if he's going to be able to make the plays. So, you know, like I said, the Ravens are up right now, but I see the Browns coming back. You know, this is an NFC North class. I mean, I'm sorry, I keep saying NFC. AFC North Classic. This is going to be a great game. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter. And like you said, the Ravens need this game to really secure a spot in the playoffs. They need this game. And when I look at the Browns, like I said, they win this, then I feel like they're winning the division.
Man, Chris, I believe I'm 100% with you on what you just said. Brian, I've seen you shaking your head. Was there anything you disagreeing with Chris Brown on?
I have no faith in Baker Mayfield.
I don't either.
I agree with you in everything else. They got the line, they got the defense, they got weapons. But Baker Mayfield in clutch down the stretch, making pass plays, I just don't see it. He's not accurate enough in order for me to believe that the Browns can win this game, number one, and go far in the playoffs, because you're going to have to rely on Baker Mayfield, not me.
Who do you think is a better passer right now, Lamar or Baker?
That's a toss-up. That's a 50-50.
Okay. I understand where you're coming from.
Baker's he's too streaky for me to have put any faith in him just throwing the ball. Mm-hmm. They don't trust Lamar with throwing the ball enough unless it's that play action pass. Now we're going to throw a deep shot to Hollywood Brown. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll take it, but I don't trust Baker Mayfield.
I was just saying, right now with the offenses, I trust Baker to go down more than I trust Lamar. There's a lot of quarterbacks I trust way more than Baker. But if you ask me with the offenses with those two, right now I'm leaning more towards Baker only because he has a chance to show his arm. It's not the best arm, but from what I've seen him make better passes than Lamar because of the offenses. But no, I'm not a Baker guy. I'm not a Baker guy. I'm not going to stand up for Baker. I call Baker trash in the beginning of the year. But, you know, with this offense being tailored to make it easier for him, then I think it's easier for him to make some of these throws, do stuff like, you know, what Ryan Tannehill's doing, what Jimmy Garoppolo was able to do last year to get to the Super Bowl.
Now, I agree with you that offense is better suited for Baker Mayfield passing the ball right now than what Lamar has. Mm-hmm. I still just look at it from, if you can't make it work with Odell Beckham getting wide open and you just completely miss him, I can't trust you, man.
You preaching to the choir right now.
Man, broke down Eli was able to get Odell Beckham the ball. You mean to tell me Baker can't? Nah, man.
Preaching to the choir.
All right, Landon. We hear what Chris' position is. We see what Brian's position is. Where do you stand on this conversation? What are your thoughts on the game?
I agree with Chris. I would put my trust in the Baker Mayfield before I put it in Lamar Jackson, just because I would, like he said, he takes too long to get to drive with their run-based offense. I don't think they'll be able to do anything in the clutch. I'd trust Baker Mayfield in the clutch better than I would Lamar Jackson.
And, you know, my thoughts on this game is, I mean, to me, I would take Lamar ahead of Baker Mayfield because I believe in Lamar. Lamar does not put in the right position. If he had the coach that would give him position to throw the ball, and if he had actually a receiver, Chris Brown said it many times on the show that he has speedsters at the wideout position. He don't have a true wideout who can run routes and stuff like that. If he had a true wide receiver who can run routes, and if the coach actually gave him passing plays to throw the ball downfield, we could possibly see another Lamar Jackson. This is why they struggled this year. This offense is very predictable. We heard Lamar Jackson say that the opposing defensive line was calling out their plays before they even ran the play. So to me, it's a coaching problem, and then they need some more wide receivers who can run route running. That's my thoughts on that. Before we go to the next topic, do any of you guys want to rebuttal anything?
No, I think from what I'm hearing, we're pretty much all in agreement. I know we're not saying nobody. I'm not saying that Baker Mayfield is a great quarterback. Excuse me. I'm just saying with this offense,
No,
I think I don't. And Brian said it best. When you have Odell getting open, you can't make that work. You're not that elite level type of quarterback. You're just simply not. I mean, Odell, one of the most talented wide receivers in the game. You cannot make that work with him, Jarvis Landry, and you got a good tight end, and there's a problem. So the fact that they had to, take the offense, scale it back down, to being a more run type of offense, more play action, means that he's not the best quarterback. But this offense suits him, and I think Baker Mayfield is going to have a decent career with offense like this. But if you want, Baker Mayfield to drop back and throw 45 times, I think he's not going to be successful in this NFL from what I've seen so far.
Right, before we move on, I think we should, get these comments because these comments are coming in tonight. Brandon Herrera says, could the Browns have enough run power in the D to make a big splash in the playoffs?
Yes, I stand on it.
100%.
And shout out to Coach Cam. We talked about this a lot of times. When you're in the playoffs, what kind of team are you in the playoffs? Does your style of play win playoff games? You're talking about a dominant running team. That can pass when necessary. Not the greatest pass, but that can pass when necessary, but they can dominate the time of possession with the running game. And a defense that's be able to make plays, get sacks, and create stops. That's a winning formula in the playoffs. I'm not saying that this is the best team, but I'm saying you don't know. You just don't know with a team like that. They could beat anybody. Like
I hope I'm not saying the name wrong. Hannigan asks, how are you predicting Juden in the third? And then Tim, he said Lamar is a smaller version of Cam Newton.
Not bad. Yeah.
Lamar has to make a better read as well. And then Joshua said, who's more likely to be one and done, Steelers or the Saints?
Saints.
Steelers.
I'm going to say the Steelers just because of the lack of offense they have. All right. Well, that's enough of that. Let's get into the next question, gentlemen. So Sunday evening, we've seen Mr. Hurts make his first NFL career start going against the New Orleans Saints, and he actually played good. He looked good. The Philadelphia Eagles looked good. What is your thoughts on that game? And I see the man shaking his head. What is your thoughts on that game? And should the Eagles start Hurts for the rest of the season? I think it's only fitting.
I don't want the big screen, but I want to go first.
We'll give it to Chris Brown.
Listen, I said on this show on Thursday, my hot take that Jalen Hurts in his first start will beat the New Orleans Saints. I said it and I believed it. People called me crazy. People were commenting on the show I was crazy. They was hitting me up on my phone saying I'm crazy. Why did I believe that? Because when Doug Peterson came out and said we're going to change the offensive game plan, I said, oh, my God, he actually knows how we won a Super Bowl. He knows how we made it to the playoffs. You run the ball first, let the run set up the pass, and put the quarterback in the best position for him to succeed. Not throwing 45 times against the Seattle Seahawks and letting them blitz us all night. Not trying to out-throw Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Not trying to out-throw all these other quarterbacks. You go with your game plan. You dominate the run. Dominate the running game. I mean, this New Orleans Saints team didn't give up, a rusher hasn't rushed over 100 yards against this team in the past 55 games. So not only did, and I'm going to speak on Jalen Hurts later, not only did he do it, Miles Sanders did it. 14 carries, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. So when you talk about the offensive game plan, we were able to execute perfectly. And also, you're talking about the Eagles team that was the most sacked team in the NFL. The team that quarterback got hit the most in the NFL. They allowed 0 sacks. And if somebody comments something crazy about my quarterback, I ain't even paying attention because I'm happy right now. They allowed 0 sacks. Why did they allow 0 sacks? Well, one, we put the quarterback in better position, not just standing in the pocket, but a lot of sprint passes, a lot of RPOs, and also Jalen Hurts' ability to get out the pocket and run. I mean, he picked up a lot of first downs. A lot of that 106 yards is on third down, him executing, getting out the pocket, running away, and throwing the ball away, not, taking a sack. And then I look at our defense. 5 sacks against Taysom Hill and 2 turnovers. This is a defense that had 4 interceptions going into the game. We got 1. We had 11 turnovers going into the game. We got 2. We had 5 sacks. This defensive line is the best defensive. Let me repeat this. The Eagles' defensive line is the best defensive line in the NFL. Why? Because they were number 1 in sacks going into this game. You look at the defensive line, we're leading the NFL in over 36 sacks as a defensive line unit. No other defensive line is like that. I know there's great players on teams that maybe outshine everybody else, but as a unit, is the best defensive line unit. And should Jalen Hurts start next week? Of course he should. He got us the victory. The offense was catered around him. The offense was run, which we should have been doing for the all year. That's how we went to the Super Bowl. That's how we go to the playoffs. We established a run. This was the number 1 running defense in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 1 defense and the number 1 rush defense in the NFL. And the Eagles decided to run 36 times for 246 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now you decide to start running the ball against the number 1 defense, but not against the Packers, but not against the Seahawks, but not against the Giants, not against all these other teams, but the clear-cut number 1 defense with the number 1 rushing defense, you establish a run. So if they're going to do that, I'm confident for them to be successful. And with Jalen Hurts, what he did, I'm confident for him to be successul. Put that dude in the best position for him to win. He's a leader. He's confident. He made the throws that was necessary. He did fumble at the end that almost lost us the game, which he's had a fumbling problem all year. But Jalen Hurts right now should be the starter. After you got a victory against the number 1 defense, you let us down the field. The offense looked good. It looked the best I've seen in a while. And I see everybody in the comments, and I'm going to address y'all all in one statement. It's the last statement. Stop saying Carson Wentz was the problem when we ran the ball 36 times against the number 1 defense, and we ran the ball less than 16 times against the Seahawks. The game plan totally reversed. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, I'm gonna give my takes on it, man. The Eagles, yes, it's the coaching problem because it shouldn't have been took this long for Doug Peterson to run the ball this many times when the 2 running backs were averaging the yards they're averaging a game. So yes, we all know that's a coaching problem. And yes, I'm glad Hurts got the opportunity because I knew what he was going to do. He was going to create a spark on that offense. He was going to create. He created that spark. He got the wide receivers amped up. He got amped up and made the Eagles play better. He did the same thing that Nick Foles did in Philadelphia. He came in and he gave them a spark that they needed. And I guarantee you this, Chris, y'all will win the next few games, and you guys will get back into playoff contention because of Hurts. I'm just saying. But Landon, since I went to Brian last, Landon, what is your thoughts on that game, and should they keep Hurts?
I think I agree with you where you said, the spark. I think he made the whole offense play better, and I think the new game plan, obviously, there was a lot more handoffs, and I think Miles Sanders having the game he did really shows that this run, their run game is elite, and I think if they stick with that, they could maybe make a playoff run. And I think Jalen Hurts is what the Eagles need here, and I think he is the franchise guy in Philadelphia.
Franchise quarterback. Brian, what was your thoughts on the game, and should the Eagles keep Hurts in for the rest of the season?
The game went exactly how I thought it was going to go. The minute that the Saints faced a good defense, a good defense, it was going to expose Taysom Hill for what he is. He's an athlete that can run the ball. Is he a good passer? Not at all. He had plenty of opportunities to make passes to where his receivers could catch and run. He messed up on that. So that's a Taysom Hill, New Orleans Saints problem. The Eagles, they have a bigger problem at hand, which Carson Wentz is making a ton of money. How are you going to leave him on the bench making that much money? I would, because you got a better shot at winning with Jalen Hurts right now, with the way that offense is running and with the way that the play calling is happening. So Jalen Hurts should be the starter going forward, but there's no way that they're going to be able to continue to keep him starting even until next year because you got too much money wrapped up in Carson Wentz. You better fix him now because it's going to kill your team in the future.
Oh man, look like Chris Brown frozen up there. Look like he might be stuck.
It's not nothing what Brian said. Brian was right. Everybody kept telling me you got to get rid of Carson Wentz. Understand the game of football. You can't because of the money problems. And I said this plenty of times. Jalen Hurts is playing good, not great. Don't be surprised if Jalen Hurts get traded for some draft picks. Because I see. First of all, I'm not going to address some of these comments. You see me. Some of these comments are outlandish. Everybody's saying all this bad stuff about Carson Wentz when everybody was loving him last year. I mean, to watch the media totally flip-flop on this dude from everybody was on his jock strap last year, loving him because he carried a bunch of practice squad wide receivers to the playoffs. And now, with the same situation and take away the offensive line, he's having a bad year. Now he's the worst quarterback in the NFL. Please stop it. Because y'all was on his – I can't say certain things on air, but you know what I'm trying to say. Last year, y'all was loving this dude. Oh, Wentz is so good. You was talking about Deshaun Watson. He had better stats than Deshaun Watson last year. This year, he's under some more terrible circumstances, and now he's a terrible quarterback. Stop acting like the game plan was changed. Stop acting like we threw 45 times with Jalen Hurts. It was a lot of running. A lot of running and a lot of scrambling. And another reason why we allowed 0 sacks, and I love you, Jason Peters. You're an Eagles legend. I will always love you in my heart. But you've been playing like complete garbage this year. Garbage. So we got rid of him and put Nate Herbert in there, who's been doing good this year. And that's another reason why we allowed 0 sacks. But for all these comments, talking all this stuff about Carson Wentz, he's a bad quarterback. I want to see Jalen Hurts throw 45 to 50 times. We run the ball less than 15 times with Miles Sanders, by the way, who's second in the league in yards per carry, who's doing this thing with not a lot of touches, who's getting a big run almost every single game. So let's throw the ball 45 times with a terrible offensive line with Jalen Hurts, and let's see what happens. Let's throw the ball 3 straight plays, go 3 and out with Jalen Hurts, and see what happens. So I understand everybody's love for Jalen Hurts, but stop acting like he came out here and threw for 500 yards and ran for 120. He threw for 167, made simple, easy throws, and was mobile because that's what he is. And I love Jalen Hurts. I'm not bashing Jalen Hurts, but y'all acting like Jalen Hurts is like Russell Wilson. Yeah. Stop it. We need to see more, and y'all talking about he's the quarterback for the future. He's the quarterback for right now. He has shown me nothing for me to sit up here and say this dude is the quarterback of the future. We didn't have the best offense last night. We looked good at times. It was times this offense stalled in that second half. We didn't score to the fourth quarter. So stop acting like Jalen Hurts is the future, guys. That's my problem. And I'm done talking about this topic now. So, if you want to move on, I'm with it. I just hate the bashing when y'all have no facts behind it. That's all.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a problem in Pittsburgh. Last week they lost to the Washington football team to 23-17. Last night in the primetime game, Sunday Night Football, They took on the Buffalo Bills. They lost 26-15. Gentlemen, what is your thoughts on them losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers? To the Buffalo Bills, Brian?
The Steelers were in trouble from the bye week simply because they rely on Big Ben too much to throw the ball. Big Ben cannot move, and you have lost your running game. So that means he's a statue sitting back there for that offensive line that is not that good at pass blocking. So when you don't have an offensive line that can pass block and you have an immobile quarterback, you better get the ball out of your hands a lot quicker than what Big Ben does. And he did not. So I do believe they're going to be in trouble going forward because now you have to reinvent the wheel and get back to running the football, which, man, oh, man, they have a problem doing that simply because they haven't done it. And it was against the Buffalo Bills with an awesome defense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they ran into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. You're talking about one of the elite defenses in the game. It can shut a lot of teams down. But when it's time for that offense to make plays, they come up short often because they don't know who's the true playmaker. They don't have a true running game. Big Ben's a little bit older. Like you said, he's not able to move in and out the pocket like he used to. Yes, you have decent wideouts, but you don't have an elite wideout. This team have a lot of questions on the offensive end. That's why I think all of us do not believe in them. We believe in the Cleveland Browns, like Chris alluded to earlier in the show, more than we believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have a better record. So, that's just the honest truth. We know what the Bills are. Bills is a young team with Josh Allen. They're on the up and up. They're on the up and up, and hey, they come to battle and they can put points up every night. They have that defense. So, hey, Pittsburgh Steelers just getting exposed right now. And this is what happens when you have a softer schedule at the beginning of the season. Let's face it, they was not beating legit teams at first. Now the schedule's trying to get a little bit harder, a little bit tougher, and we've seen the real Pittsburgh Steelers. Landon, what's your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I saw this coming. Even if the Steelers would have lost to the football team, I still would have had the Bills winning this just because it was their first challenge. And, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, and Cole Beasley as well, he's kind of on the come up. And that defense, it just played so good. And I don't know if it was the defense that played good or if it was just Big Ben playing bad. He just sits in the pocket, and that offensive line is not fantastic. And, he just sits back there and gets hit, whether it's a good throw or not. I don't think it's his fault. I think if he had a decent line, he might be able to make better reads and maybe hit more receivers downfield. But I like what Freddie said about not having elite wideouts. I think if Juju was back where he was a few years back, maybe they could do something in the playoffs. But I see them and the Saints both not making it far. We talked about that earlier.
Chris, yesterday, last night, you're watching this game.
Mm-hmm.
What was going through your mind with this game, man?
I mean, I feel like I've been saying this for weeks that I don't trust the Steelers. I need to see them going on the stretch they're going on right now against good teams and good defenses and how they're going to play. And right now, I'm not loving what I'm seeing. I mean, when I look at, Brian said, they don't have a running, the running game is this, the running game is that. I think their running game was gone, ever since they got rid of Le'Veon. James Conner's been trash. I mean, 10 carries, let's pull up the stats. 10 carries for 18 yards by James Conner. As a team, they had 17 carries for 47 yards. The Buffalo Bills are giving up about 120 yards a game before this game. They're giving up about 4 or 5 yards a carry before this game. And the fact that the Steelers weren't able to establish a run, you cannot rely on Big Ben. For me, Big Ben is in a category with Tom Brady and Drew Brees right now. Quarterbacks that are not the version of their old selves. They cannot make the same throws they were able to use to. They don't have the same rocket arm that they had, that they used to. They got to take short, intermediate throws. They got to rely on playmakers in the run game. When I look at the Saints, they have a good run game and they got playmaking wide receivers. Right now, I'm not seeing that out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not. And not to really dive into Buffalo because we're about to do that in a second. I mean, I've been a big fan for Buffalo for years. Once they got Josh Allen, I mean, I understood what they was getting in a quarterback from him. And I said at the beginning of the year, this is a team that everybody's going to sleep on, that I knew were going to dominate the division. I don't know why people thought that I knew that the Dolphins were going to be better than the Patriots. I don't know why people had any belief in the Patriots, especially when all those guys opted out and they have no offensive weapons. I knew the Buffalo Bills were a great team. And to me, the fact that they ran for over 100 yards when everybody's been questioning their running offense is a big W because you're going against the Steelers who got a top 5 running defense. So watching this game, I knew the Steelers were going to lose. It was more about what can I see from Buffalo. And I'm really going to answer that, when Freddie moves on to the next topic. But I love what I saw from Buffalo.
I kind of have a question. It wasn't part of the topic. It's just something that came to my mind. Pittsburgh needs a quarterback. We all know Big Ben is getting age. He dealt with injuries in the past. Age, he's not able to do the things that he used to be able to do. There is a quarterback that is recovering from injury, and this the question is he going to get paid? He wants to get paid. If Dallas is not willing to pay Dak Prescott, is Dak Prescott the perfect quarterback for Pittsburgh? I'm gonna go with Chris on that.
I mean, I don't know if he's the perfect quarterback. I don't know if the Steelers are going to really pay him that much money that he wants, and. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if Pittsburgh is going to, fully dive into the quarterback position when they still got some offensive, problems they need to address, like that running game, So I don't know, he's going to be a good quarterback for him, but I don't know if they're going to throw the bag at him. They might try to get another quarterback for less money. They might try to make a trade for a quarterback. But I don't, he's a good, this is what I say about Dak Prescott. He's overhyped. I've been saying this for years. He's overhyped. All those yards never translated to anything meaningful. He was a good quarterback when he was handing the ball off to Zeke and making the right throws. So if you're expecting him to come in and throw for all these yards and win you games, we saw with Dallas that translated into nothing, honestly. So I don't understand, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback if you want him to be the next Patrick Mahomes. But, I mean, if you want a guy to hand the ball off and make the right throws and win you games, I think he's the perfect guy for you.
All right, cool. Well, you just alluded to the Buffalo Bills. We seen what they're doing all year. We see what they did last night. Are they a legit threat in the AFC this year? We'll go with Landon on this one.
I still think the Chiefs are the best team in the league, and there's nothing I don't think that's going to make me, think different. And they're both in the AFC. I think they might give the Chiefs a run for their money. It might go into a shootout. I still think Patrick Mahomes with all of his weapons would still, overcome the Bills. But I'm still going to say the Chiefs are going to win the AFC. But the Bills, they're good. They've been showing me a lot on the offensive end, and we'll see what happens. But I still think the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC and the whole NFL.
All right, Chris. Look like he's taking the Chiefs, and they're legit. They're the best team in the AFC. But are they a legit threat in the AFC? What do you think, Chris?
I mean, I think the Bills are a legit threat. They're a team that can really beat anybody in the NFL. They might take some unnecessary losses. They are very young. But at the end of the day, if they face the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, I promise you the Chiefs aren't going to think this is a walk in the park. Because, with an offense like that, when you got when you have a number one wide receiver and a great quarterback, you don't know what can happen every single week. I mean, we've seen Stephon Diggs dominate last week. We've seen him have great games. So, I just want to say, Kendall, you're right. Juju Smith is a good number 2. Don't know if he's a number 1. But back on the Buffalo Bills, when I look at their offense, they're doing what they have to do. And if they can start establishing a run, that's only going to open up the passing game. And so, are they a threat? They're definitely a threat. Can they beat teams like the Colts in the first round? They got to go against the Dolphins in the first round. The Browns, the Ravens in the first round. Yes, I do see them beating those teams. The only team for them, is Kansas City. Kansas City and maybe Tennessee are the only 2 teams that can really beat them. Everybody else, I see them having a legit chance of winning. I think they can beat anybody if they play right. But that's the NFL. Anybody can win any given Sunday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever games the games are on, because of COVID, they've rescheduled the games. But anybody can be beat. So, and when you got a great team, they have a better opportunity to beat another great team. You're on mute, Freddie.
I do that often.
Too much.
Brian, what's your thoughts on that?
Okay. All right. Is the Buffalo Bills a legitimate threat? Yes, simple terms, they are. Now, I think they're a mirror image of the Tennessee Titans, pretty much. You have a mobile quarterback that can cause defenses problems simply because you have to spy on them, you got to pay attention to them, and that takes their attention off of what really you should be looking at is making sure the wide receivers are getting behind you and what's that running back doing. And when you have Stephon Diggs, you better pay attention to him. Now, do I trust Josh Allen with being accurate with the football? That's a week-to-week thing. That's their number one problem is, can Josh Allen be accurate on a consistent basis? And whenever they win, he's accurate. When he has one of those errand days like he's Jameis Winston or something, where the ball starts floating on him, just flying everywhere, then you can count him out. But I do think they are a legit threat. I just look at them as Tennessee. They're going to go just as far as Josh Allen and his accuracy can take them.
All right. Let's move on to the next topic. Gentlemen, we just talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? We know what they are on the defensive end. We know what they are on the offensive end. With all that being said, are they a first-round exit? Chris, what do you think?
Y'all know my thoughts. Yes. They're a first-round exit. I mean, especially if they don't, they lost the number 1 seed, so they can give that up. I don't see Kansas City getting rid of that. So they lost their bye. So now they're going to have to go against one of these teams. They might have to go against the Tennessee. They might have to go against the Indianapolis Colts, who they play, later on in the year. They might have to go against, who knows what they have to go against. It don't matter. I see them losing. I ain't going to sit up here and waste 2 minutes of y'all time. The question is, are they a first-round exit? I don't believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their defense is great, but right now they're falling off. They're, not what they are at the beginning of the year. The offense, I don't trust it. I don't trust Big Ben Arm anymore. Their receivers aren't the playmakers that they used to be or that they should be. They don't have any running game. They don't have the necessary, weapons and tools to win. Until I see different, I think they're a first-round exit. I hope they win something for Mike Tomlin's sake, but right now, I think they're a first-round exit.
All right, Brian, are they a first round exit?
They will be a first round exit if they cannot find a legit replacement for Bud Dupree.
Yes.
We keep saying that their defense is legit and they're number one. They were number one when they were healthy, i.e., before Bud Dupree went down.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't really have that pass rush, just relying on Watt on one side. They have really no push up the middle, and Dupree was coming from the other side, and that's what made them legit. That's what made them win 10 straight games. Without that, it's over. So they will be a first round exit unless they find somebody to take the place of Bud Dupree.
All right, Landon, what do you think?
I'm going to agree. I don't think the Steelers are going to do anything in the playoffs just because, I think that defense can hold its own. But the offense, like I said earlier, Big Ben's just sitting in there getting hit, and he's got, 3 seconds max to throw the ball to these mediocre receivers, and that's not going to get you anywhere in the playoffs. I don't care if it's Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster. None of them are good enough to carry that team. You can say Big Ben has to carry that team, but in reality, he's just sitting back there getting hit. You know what I mean? And that, like that running game, again, I'm going to bring that up. They've got to do something. That defense could not carry this team on a run into the playoffs.
All right. Which team or teams need to fire their head coach as soon as possible? We'll go with Brian on this one. Brian, what NFL coach need to be gone like now?
It's too many of them to name, man, because the first thing you think of is the New York Jets with Adam Gase. And he wanted to fire one of the coordinators. I'm like, okay, the defensive coordinator make you lose all 10, 11, 12 games? No, it's you. Look at yourself and what you keep doing, and doesn't matter who he brought in. There was Le'Veon Bell and all this talent on defense, and he was able to do nothing with it. But somehow, some way, Adam Gase is still there. I don't know.
All right, Landon, what coach need to be gone in your eyes?
I was thinking Zach Taylor, but Adam Gase I think needs to be gone quicker than Zach Taylor. I agree. He's had so much talent, and I think Sam Darnold was a good quarterback. But and he did nothing with him. And I think he just needs to they need to get him out of there as soon as possible if they want to have any winning in their future.
I want to address a comment on here.
Oh, that's terrible. Come on, Hannigan.
Nah, Joe Judge, what he did with that Giants team, with that culture that he brought there, he don't need to be gone. Chris, what coach
a good coach.
need to be gone?
There's only one answer. This is the answer that, my guy, Coach Cam, would say. Zach Taylor needs to be out of here for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm sorry. You bring him in, goes 2-14 last year, 2-10 this year, probably going to lose the rest of the games. This guy right here can't coach a football team. Everybody knows in order to be successful as a football team, you have to have, you got to be a good coach. You have to have a culture. He hasn't established a culture so far in Cincinnati. You can say, they don't have this, they don't have that. But a good coach understands what they don't have and makes a game plan around it. He's yet to change anything. They keep trying to do the same thing. I see Will saying fire Nagy. It's a lot of coaches that have to go. If it wasn't for this week, I'd say fire Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
But he showed me something different. But for right now, for the coaches, I got a little list. You got the Jets coach. You got the Jaguars coach. You got the Bengals coach. You got the Chargers coach. You got the Bears coach. It's a lot of coaches that need to go.
Cowboys coach.
Nah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I'll say this. He needs to go. They need a coach that will use Zeke the right way because that's how they won games. Simple. I'm not going to go into a tangent trying to defend the Cowboys because I don't like the Cowboys, but it was simple on why they could be successful and they went away with it. So, from a guy that's in the NFC East, Freddie, for a guy that's halfway in the NFC East and halfway in the NFC North, we both want them to fire a new coach. Brandon, you're saying Zimmer. I don't know.
Zimmer's good though, man.
I say get rid of Kirk, and you wouldn't have had the struggles you had.
Yeah,
and y'all let too many guys on defense go. Brandon, I'm trying to help you. Your coach isn't the problem. We know what the problem is for that team.
All right, Chris,
can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Hannigan said that thing about Patricia, and I meant to say that. I think that if he would have stuck the rest to this, I would have said him 100%. I think that was a really good firing.
All right. Well, that's the first half of the show. Before we get to the second half, Chris, tell these folks what we're giving away here at ASAP.
Yes, I see a lot of comments right now. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the support. Make sure you share the page, get it out to more people. Tell your friends about it. Make sure you like the page, like the video, share the video. We're going to tally all that up at the end of the month. That person is going to be crowned the viewer of the month. You're going to get your very own ASAP Network t-shirt. It's a beautiful t-shirt. Like I said, feels good, fits good, and got that new car smell. Or maybe that's just me because I smell good. I don't know. I do smell good. But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
All right. So at the beginning of the show, we started off with an NFL hot take. Okay, we're about to get into the NBA side of it. So let's do an NBA hot take. Brian, what's your hot take for the NBA?
Zion Williamson is going to be the MVP of the league.
I love it. Started off hot. I love
That
it.
boy, he done got himself in a lot better shape. The team should be better around him. Hopefully he can stay healthy and really shine. I mean, if you're looking for talent, that's talent right there. What else do you want?
All right. Well, I'm going to put my hot take in there before I let Chris go. My hot take is, I was watching the Nets play the other night against the Wizards, and they looked good. Kevin Durant looked just like Kevin Durant. I mean, Kevin Durant was, he's still there.
Now he's still there. So when I told you he was still there before, you want to say, we got to wait and see. I told you from when I saw it already. But come on. That's
Kyrie Irving dancing on you, making these nasty moves. I mean, just knocking the shot down, looking nasty. But my hot take is, I believe Kyrie Irving mid-season will get traded. Why? Not because of his play, because of his mindset, the crazy things that come out of his mouth. I mean, they're not going to put up with all these distractions in Brooklyn. They're going to say, okay, Kyrie, you don't want to talk to the media, which he then finally came back and said he's going to talk to because after they find him. Then he come out here and, he says this dude is weird, man. Let's face it, this dude is weird, okay? So they're going to say, you know what? I'd rather trade you, Spencer Dinwiddie, Caris LeVert, some draft picks for a dude in Houston with the beard and Mr. James Harden. I believe they're going to trade Kyrie for James Harden because, you know what, at the end of the day, we know Kyrie going to be a part of it because they're not going to let no bag of chips walk out the door without them giving up, a star player in the making. Chris Brown, I know you're making that face, and if you don't agree with me, Kyrie Irving is a weird dude, man. Anytime somebody says the earth is flat, yeah, they're weird, man.
Yeah.
All right, Chris,
you want to know something, though? You're a weird dude.
How?
I'm a weird dude. Everybody's a weird dude. Was Dennis Rodman a weird dude? Was he a big part of them winning the championship? I don't care what your personality is. Can you play in between those lines? Can you ball on the basketball court? Kyrie Irving is one of the most talented guys. I don't care how weird you are.
He's going to be a distraction to that
distraction to who? He gets them, but he helped them win. Who cares about that off the court stuff? Only people that are inside their own minds. Oh, he's not talking to the media. Oh, he's not. I don't care. Things that are
much of a distraction.
Distraction for who? That's a distraction in your eyes. Are you Steve Nash? No. Are you Steve Nash? Are you on that basketball? No. Are you in that basketball team? Okay, was it a problem last night? Did they look good last night?
Brother.
Yeah, Steve Nash played in the back. He was the MVP in the league. He handled a lot worse than Kyrie Irving thinking the earth's flat and not wanting to talk to media. That's not a big problem for him. He's wondering, how can I put this offense together? How can his team win games? You are the only guy and people that want to make a big deal out of all this little stuff. He's not talking to the media. He wants to play his rap songs on Instagram Live. Who cares? You're Chris, playing the game. Freddie, shut up. I'm talking.
It's not a big deal.
It's not. It's a big deal. It's not a big deal for me. Are you going to be able to play basketball? Can I count on you to hit a shot in the fourth quarter? Yes.
It's not a big deal.
Why is it a big deal for me? It's not a big deal for me because he doesn't want to talk to the media. Who cares? A lot of people in the media are jerks. They only want to write the negative stuff about you. I don't care if he doesn't want to talk to them. That doesn't hurt my feelings. I want to see him play basketball. I don't care about him talking to the media. Can you play the game of basketball? Yes.
Chris, I got a question for you. Do you think it's a big deal when Kyrie comes out, and the minute that they announce that they have a new coach, he says, well, KD might be a coach one night. I'm going to be a coach one night. We ain't worried about what he got going on. I think that is a problem, and he even had to come out and admit, yeah, man, I messed up. I shouldn't have said that.
He definitely shouldn't have said that, but I promise you they talked about the in-house. And so they might not have talked about what they talk about in-house. That's why I can't judge a lot of things. I don't know what's going inside of Brooklyn's locker room. We talking about all of this, but they could be playing chess over there. They could sit there and be laughing like, yo, Kyrie, crazy, man. How you going to get 40 tonight?
I hope so.
Like from what I seen, from how connected him and KD are, which is the biggest W, from getting Steve Nash, who wants to coach a great team that has a good relationship with Kyrie and KD, I don't like, okay, it's a big deal. Is it worth him being traded over? No. To me, it's not a big deal because I don't care if you want to talk to the media. Are you going to be able to help me get a W? I mean, we brought you there to win a championship. What I've seen for what we saw from Kyrie in his first year in Brooklyn, 2 50-point games, 20 games, averaging 27, he showed that he's there to do one thing, get buckets, win a championship. Don't talk to the media. Don't matter. Win me a championship.
Obviously, it do matter because he's talking back to the media now. The Brooklyn Nets must have got it on him because guess what? The NBA said, you know what? You don't talk to the media. We're going to find you in the Brooklyn Nets. And you can realize it's a big problem when you sign your contract. That's a part of your contract. So every night you don't talk to the media, guess what? It's going to be a distraction on your team. And we say we bring up Steve Nash, but we all do not know if Steve Nash can handle the pressure.
You don't know. I'm confident. You're the only questioning it. I'm not questioning that at all. When you have a solid assistant coaches with you, and you have experience in the NBA, I'm not questioning. Can you handle this? You realize he ran an offense. He was a point guard in the NBA. He had to handle a lot of pressure. This is a new type of pressure. This is a new type of pressure. We're talking about an X's and O's. He's going to be fine. Now, Freddie,
he's going to be fine. We all agree on that. But when it comes to that locker room, is he going to be able to control that as a rookie head coach? I mean, that's just point blank period. Is he going to be able to handle it as a rookie head coach? And we're going to have to see because he have a lot of personalities on his team. KD and Kyrie Irving went to New York, to Brooklyn, the media capital. And we all know they are both sensitive when it comes to the media. Will they be able to handle it? We shall see.
I think it's surpassed a hot take.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I don't understand why media. I don't care. If you don't want to talk to the media, I don't care. Can you play bad? I'm not trying to. I don't care about what you talking to the media. And I'm about to, go over to my hot take. This is going too long. I don't care about you talking to the media. I care about you playing basketball. That's how I feel. So regardless, I seen players. We seen what Marshawn did. I'm only here so I don't get fined. Why do you think he did that? Because I'm not going to just slander the media, but some guys in the media they're not good dudes. They only write about the negative. So I'm not mad at all those guys saying they don't want to talk to the negative reporters. I'm agreeing with you. Can you play the game of basketball? Is that going to distract you from putting the ball in the basket? From what I saw, Kyrie Irving still Kyrie, KD still KD. This team gelled last night. Those guys look good. They played good. They had a lot of enthusiasm. That's all that matters. So for my hot take, Freddie, I don't care if you wasn't going to be next. I'm going.
I was going with you next anyway.
My hot take, the Portland Trail Blazers will make it all the way to the Western Conference Finals, and they will. We all know everything runs to the Lakers. Everything runs to the team that just won the championship, unless major things happen. And the Lakers got better. So I don't care what nobody says. Everything's run through LA. That's what you give that to a champion until they prove it shouldn't. Everything's run through LA. I believe the Portland Trail Blazers are going to make it to the Western Conference Finals, and they're going to put up a fight. Here's why: when you add a Robert Covington, he's there for defense, and that's why they needed was a wing defender for the past 3-4 years. When you added Derrick Jones Jr., when you have Enes Kanter coming off the bench, when you got Carmelo, who I think is going to be the sixth man of the year, that's another hot take. I was going to say it for Thursday, but I'll say it now. I got Melo as sixth man of the year. When you have a Melo can come off the bench and give you buckets, when you have guys, when you can be 12, 13 deep comfortably, you're going to do good in this NBA. I like them better than I like the Nuggets, especially with the Nuggets losing Grant. I like them better than I like the Clippers until the Clippers add a true point guard. I like them better than I like the Mavericks. I love this team. I think they have a lot of talent. People say, oh, well, we seen this, we seen that. When you add the main things that they needed to be great, when we already seen what Dame can do, we already seen what CJ McCollum can do, what Nurkic can do. We always said, man, when are they going to get that wing defender? You add that, man, the sky the limit for the Trailblazers.
All right, Landon, what's your hot take?
Luka Doncic for MVP. I said this, I think, in the fantasy basketball draft. I think Luka's going to come out, win MVP, and I think him and Porzingis might lead the Mavericks to a little playoff run. You know, I don't know. We'll see. But Luka for MVP is my hot take.
Can I say something real quick, Freddie, about Luka? Coach Cam, if you listen to this, you could tell me if I'm tripping. Everybody wants to compare Luka to LeBron. And here's why I hate that comparison. Do you see the athleticism LeBron has? And this is no disrespect to Luka. Do you see the athleticism LeBron has? Luka's not there. And why I compare him to a guy like legendary Larry is because Larry Bird controlled the pace of the game. LeBron controls the pace, but he moves so fast, jumps so high. Luka doesn't do that. Larry Bird controls the pace of the game. You know, not only can give you 30, but he's going to give 10 assists. He can get the rebounds. To me, you know, and he shoots more than LeBron ever did, like Larry Bird did. That's why I compare him to Larry. And LeBron's a way better defender than both of those guys. So I understand that their play style is the same because they can score and pass. But, man, if you're going to compare people, compare him right. But I love Luka, though. There's no knock on Luka. I knew about Luka since 2K18, 2K17. When he was in the rosters, I knew he was going to be a beast in the NBA. That's all I'm saying.
All right, let's move to the next topic, gentlemen. Let's all face it. The NBA is better when you have a Kevin Durant, John Wall, and Boogie Cousins in the league. You know, let's face it. We want them guys in the league because we know what they're going to bring to their teams each day, each night. So, what was you guys' thoughts on their returns on their first game on this past weekend? Chris, we'll go with you.
I mean, you know, I told Freddie these guys was going to come back and look just how they did before the injury. Oh, we got to wait and see. We got to see this. We got to see that. KD looked just like the old KD. He can get buckets. He's always going to be able to shoot over anybody. When you have that long to come off an Achilles injury, and when you're still relatively young with the new technology we have now, he's still going to have some type of athleticism. You know, I knew what Kyrie was about John Wall. Listen, I knew John Wall could still hoop. You know, his Achilles injury wasn't the worst. He got injured on his non-jumping leg. Regardless, John Wall is still going to be freaky athletic. We saw that with him in Houston. He was able to get to the basket with ease, run the break with ease. His jump shot, you know, was never the best, but it looks like he's been in the lab more because he's shooting more comfortably. DeMarcus Cousins, I always knew DeMarcus Cousins was a beast. I'm tired of people saying, oh, DeMarcus Cousins torn Achilles, from a torn Achilles to a quad injury, you know, from a quad injury to ACL. Oh, he's done. DeMarcus Cousins never played with athleticism, guys. DeMarcus Cousins wasn't the guy to run up and down the floor like a JaVale McGee, catch lobs and all that like the White. No, DeMarcus Cousins is a skilled basketball player. He can shoot the three ball. I mean, we saw it. This dude is shooting 3, 4, 5 threes a game, knocking them down at a high clip. You know, this guy's he's not going to beat you. He's not going to fly above the rim. He's going to stand at the rim. He's going to be more skilled than you and more dominant than you. Chris has been high on John Wall. I have been high on John Wall because I know what type of player he is. I followed him through this entire injury process. I didn't just say, oh, he's injured. That's his injury. I know what he's going to be. No, I looked at everything. I watched him play this summer. You could tell he still have explosiveness. I know they're playing, summer basketball, rec league basketball. When you see a player and they're going full speed, you can see if they still have that quick step. You can see if they still have that explosiveness. And it was obvious John Wall still had that. So I know John Wall was going to be great, and I love what I saw. I knew KD was going to be great, and I love what I saw. I knew Boogie Cousins was going to be great, and I love what I saw. I don't think it should be any questions anymore of where these guys are going to return to the old version of themselves. They might be, Boogie Cousins might not give you 25 and 13 anymore, but he's a dominant player. Kevin Durant's going to be Kevin Durant. John Wall going to be John Wall. These guys still going to be dominant. I don't want nobody to question that no more.
All right, Landon, what did you think about their performances?
I'm rooting for all these guys. An Achilles injury, it really can take somebody's career down. Boogie's been on this injury road for a while now, and I'm rooting for him to kind of get back to where he was when he played at Sacramento. Same with John Wall. I really want them to play good. And KD, I think we all expected this. He's had longer than most people have had to recover from an Achilles injury. I like how all these guys were playing, and I'm rooting for all of them to get back to their original form. But John Wall, he had 21 points in that game over the weekend, and I think he's going to be the one to really get back to how he was originally the most, if that makes sense. I think he will not improve by any means, but I think that he will be 100%. He's still got that quick step. He's still athletic, and he will still be able to dish the ball to James Harden. And I think they will win a lot of games with John Wall at point guard.
All right, Brian.
Well, my sentiments are pretty much how online with everybody else. However, well, Boogie Cousins, he has that old man basketball. There's no athleticism that's going to be required for that. It's the bang you down low, bully ball, turn around, hitting some mid range little jump shots, baby hooks, things like that. Well, he also has a pretty decent jump shot for a guy to his size. That leads me into Kevin Durant. I really wasn't concerned about him coming back from an injury because his skill set is not predicated on him running past anybody.
Thank you.
He's 7 feet with an awesome jump shot.
Thank you.
His perimeter game is just pulling up on whoever. You got to have Bol who got to be 7'6" to be out there in order to really contest the shot from him. The only one that I was somewhat concerned about was John Wall. And that's simply because his game is predicated on him being more athletic and getting into the lane more than anybody else. So as long as he got his athleticism back and he's working on that jump shot, good to go.
All right. Cool. Let's move on to the next topic. Let's keep things moving. Who was your standout player in this preseason that started on last week? I'll go with Landon on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Horton Tucker from the Lakers. I'm just going to start off with his 2019-2020 stats. He averaged 5 points a game, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. And Sunday, he had 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. And I know the first thing one of y'all is going to say is that it's preseason. You know what I mean? But for a guy who averaged 5 points and, to come out and score 33, I'm pretty sure he had like 18 first-half points. It shows something. Maybe he's going to be somebody maybe on the second platoon, somebody to come in, as a backup. I don't know. We'll see. But I really want to see a lot more from him, maybe going into the regular season.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, if I'm Kyle Kuzma, I'm like, man, this is coming from my minutes right now, because this kid was balling the last 2 games. Actually, he was balling. Chris Brown, who's your standout player of the preseason so far?
I mean, mine's THT, but let me break it down better than what y'all are. For no offense, but for Freddie to saying Kyle Kuzma got worried, Kyle Kuzma dominated that game too against the Clippers.
Yeah, he did.
Don't act like Kuzma didn't get off. Kuzma gave you 25, shooting 50+% from the field. So the reason why mine is THT is because you're talking about a Lakers team who I was having concerns. Are they going to start Dennis Schroeder or is he going to come off the bench? But when you can have scoring like that coming off the bench, and if Kuzma can be somewhat decent this year, where he can improve his game like he showed in that second game, then you can easily start Dennis Schroeder and not have to question it. Because, LeBron said, we struggled with bench scoring last year. We struggled on the bench last year. That's why we got out and we went and we got Montrez. We went and we got Dennis Schroeder. But if Dennis Schroeder is going to start, you're taking away from some of that points that was supposed to come off that bench. But now when you got a guy that can step up and he's showing if he can give you at least 10 or at least 8 to 12 a game, then that's a big W right there, because now you can start Dennis Schroeder comfortably, put him in that starting lineup so you can have offense in that starting lineup and you can have offense coming off the bench. And I think that's a big W for the Lakers. That's something that they needed because this quick season, players probably like LeBron probably not going to play a lot of back-to-backs. AD probably not going to play a lot of back-to-backs against certain teams. You're going to need somebody to step up. And if he can step up, it's a big W for the LA.
All right, Brian, who's the standout player for you?
Actually, I'm still waiting on my player. It's James Wiseman. I haven't seen him actually get out on the court and play yet. I'm trying to see what he's going to do with Golden State because he didn't really see too much of him in college. He's supposed to have all the talent in the world, 7 feet tall, can do a little bit of everything. I'm waiting to see it. So that's the player I'm waiting on.
I feel you. I'm still waiting on Tyrese Maxey too. I know you see the banner behind me. I'm waiting on Tyrese Maxey to give me some buckets, play some good defense.
Right, there you go. I was going to do THT, but no need. You guys covered it well. Let's go to the last topics. There's a player in Houston that's not happy, who wants to get out of Houston. We all know who it is, James Harden. He wants to be traded. He have a couple teams on that list: Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Miami, the Sixers, the Bucks. I mean, hey, Brian, I'm curious. What should Houston do with James Harden at this point?
Here is going to be the problem. We're going to look. It's going to go back to what Carmelo did leaving Denver, going to New York.
Thank you.
With James Harden leaving Houston, whatever team's going to get him, it's going to take too much of that talent to acquire him.
Preach.
So when he gets to whatever other team is going to be to, he's going to be in the same situation that he's in Houston. He's going to be depleted of the roster. So if they keep him in Houston, okay, you just got to deal with him until his contract run out. If you trade him, I mean, good for you because you should get back a haul. But with James Harden, he's just going to put himself in a worse situation possibly by going to another team with a depleted roster, and now it's going to be the James Harden show one more time just on the East Coast or wherever else, not in Houston.
All right, Landon, what do you think the Houston Rockets should do with James Harden?
You know, obviously for the right reason, they're going to want a star such as, you know, Nets, Kyrie, KD, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. You know, they're wanting Tyler Hero possibly. And I think if you're the Rockets, then if you can get a guy like Ben Simmons, you know, 100% take it. But if you're the Sixers, do not give up Ben Simmons. You know, he's a great point guard. He can do, other than his 3 game, he can do almost all of it. He's a great defender. And I don't think, you know, it's going to take Ben Simmons, maybe a pick or some assets. And I don't think you could, you know, I don't think any way you could win that trade, even if you are getting James Harden, especially if Ben Simmons or Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant are involved.
Ooh, man, you know what? You must call Chris Brown before the show and say, hey, what makes you happy? What do I need to say? Because you just said everything that he likes to hear, music to his ears. Chris Brown, what should the Houston Rockets do with James Harden?
I mean, you know, I think James Harden should stay. I think this is the best team he's had in Houston because you got the versatility from the big man. You got a John Wall who can be like kind of what Chris Paul was, you know, and kind of what Russell Westbrook was. So that's going to be the point guard for you. You got a new head coach. You know, there's been reports that he doesn't want to be in the ISO type of team. But you got a new head coach that seems to want to pass the ball around. I think you should stay with this team. You know, I still think they maybe need to address the backup point guard position, but that can easily be addressed. I think this is the best team he's had in Houston. So I don't know why he wants to leave. And, you know, to talk about what Brian said, that's the best analogy I've heard anybody say since I said something like that. You know, when Melo went to the Knicks, he depleted their roster. He was a free agent. You could have just signed. I don't want, you know, speaking from a Sixers fan, I don't want us to deplete our roster before giving his team a chance. We addressed the issues that we've been saying ever since we got Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And with Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers really taking that job because of those 2 guys, I just don't see them blowing it apart before giving it a chance. And we've seen James Harden when it's just him, one other guy, and a whole bunch of role players. Dude can't get it done. So I'm not going to rely on him to do that, trade away all your core just to have a guy that's proven he cannot get it done in the postseason. So, you know, when I'm all these other teams, I'm not giving up these quality pieces. And if I'm Houston, you know, Freddie, you keep saying they want this, they want that. We all know they want the best player available from that team. But if James Harden, you know, you always talking about a distraction. If James Harden has become a distraction to this Houston Rockets team to the point where, you know, he can't be on their roster, the point where he keeps, you know, bashing their organization, the team is going to take, and, you know, this is what I've written down. They need to take and they need to do the best thing for them. So if the best thing for them is to get rid of James Harden, they're going to take the best scenario possible, whether that's Spencer Dinwiddie, LeVert, Jared Allen, Joe Harris, maybe Torian purchase some draft picks, which is first of all, that's a 5-for-1. Very good quality players that's going to help you get into the playoffs. I understand they went Kyrie, but you get all those teams, you know, you get all those players, you're still a very good ball club. You know, on the Sixers side, you can throw, you know, all the role players we got. But if a team's not willing to give up their star player, but they really want James Harden to get out of Houston, they're going to take the best available trade package. And when I seen James Harden, all these antics, you know, he could be lowering the price for him. You know, teams could say, oh, he's doing this. Oh, you know, I'm not going to throw in Ben Simmons. I'm not going to throw in Kyrie. I'm not going to throw in a Drew Holiday. And I do Miami, throw in Tyler Hero. I mean, you're talking about a guy that, you know, averaged 14, 15 points compared to MVP. It doesn't compare. You're talking about a Ben Simmons that's an all-NBA, the best defender, arguably in the NBA type of guy. You're talking about Kyrie. Talking about guys that's proven it. You know, Tyler Hero, nah, fam, gotta go. But, you know, on that, you know, if I'm the Heat, you don't want to trade everything away. But if I'm Houston, do what's best for you, what's best for that organization. If James Harden got to go, take the best available package for him. If y'all can patch everything up, because this is a very good team, do that. I think you still can compete in the West.
You know, one thing Chris said, you know, they got a new coach. And to me, you know, there's been reports. I think it was on the Smoke podcast. I forgot who was it, Matt Barnes or Steven Jackson that was upset. Like, yo, man.
Jackson.
Yeah, talking about, hey, you got a new coach over there. Don't, like, give this dude a chance. I wish you would give this dude a chance because we seen what he did with the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic. We seen how he helped that offense strive last year. And I believe that he could do the same thing in Houston. I mean, this dude, he's not just a coach that just walked in there and said, hey, I'm the coach. This dude been an assistant coach for like 22 years. He worked his behind off to get to the position where he's at now, and now he's there. I mean, James, for the Houston side, Houston's not going to trade him for a bunch of role players. If you're going to Philadelphia, you're going to have to give up Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And other than that, I'm not taking no role players at the end of the day because I'm looking for somebody I can build my franchise around. And I know Chris about to say, well, they got a point guard in John Wall.
No, that's not what I'm about to say. That's not. So don't tell me what you think I'm about to say because that's not what I was going to say.
Ben Simmons play other positions than point guard. He can play the power forward position. So, yeah, that's where I stand at.
Okay, let me clarify something. Over a 20-point score is not a role player. Spencer Dinwiddie, LeVert, Jared Allen, Joe Harris are guys that are winning pieces. Spencer Dinwiddie, we've seen what he did, gave you 20-7. We know what LeVert is. We saw him dominate the playoffs. These not average role players. These not guys averaging 8-9 points. What's a star?
You have to give me a young star, and Ben Simmons, that young up and coming star.
I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie, LeVert, Jared Allen, those young guys that's getting it done.
But will they be franchise players though?
Don't matter.
Do you really want Ben Simmons?
Franchise player out of it? Yes.
Don't matter. First of all, the Sixers. You keep saying the Sixers got to give up Ben Simmons. Brian, I heard you say, do you really want Ben Simmons? I'm not. I say this. I feel what you're saying. Ben Simmons and can that work? But also, that's why I stick on. If they're going to make a trade, they're going to do what's best for them. If these teams have came out, what makes it worse, Freddie, what you're not understanding, James Harden keeps saying all the right things for these other teams that's lowering the asking price. If he shut up, just named his teams, showed up to practice, wasn't doing all this extra stuff, then maybe the price wouldn't be lower. But that's what happened with guys like AD. That's what happened with all these other guys. They were talking, a lot of comments came out, and the price for them got lower. So James Harden price, especially with the season, getting closer and closer and closer, is going to keep lowering and lowering and lowering. The Sixers are not going to trade away the two pieces because that's why Doc Rivers came here and that's why Daryl Morey came here. They're not going to trade away these two guys. You're not going to trade away the roster you just put together for a guy that cannot get it done. Stop acting like James Harden is LeBron. Stop acting like James Harden is Kevin Durant. James Harden does not get it done in the playoffs. Everybody says he's a shooter. This guy shoots 35% and 30% in the postseason from the three-point line. I love James Harden, but none of these teams, if they were going to trade away their young players, don't you think they would have did it already? Houston's asking price for Philadelphia was Ben Simmons and 3 first-round picks. Yes, don't you think if the Sixers were worth it, they would have pulled that trigger months ago? Come on now. Three first-round picks. And your star player for a guy that's 32 and showing that he cannot get to the finals. Right. Where's your logic, Freddie?
Let's put some respect on his name because you're being too disrespectful.
I'm pointing out the facts.
And Kevin Durant, this is the previous MVP of the season who's going to give you 36 a game.
What about in the postseason, though? What about in the postseason? You say that
about a lot of players, Chris.
Like who?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
And do you see anybody trying to trade away their best players for him? And he's 10 years younger.
I'm just saying we see a lot of players that not get it done.
No. Keep naming them. Keep naming guys.
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry doesn't get it done in the playoffs.
There was moments where he
and guess what? Guess what? Do you see anybody trying to trade away everybody for him?
Well,
guys in their 30s.
What if they not trying to trade them? If they trying to trade them, they would.
Okay, name 5 players in their 30s getting older that don't get it done in the playoffs.
Chris, if he was Golden State,
you saying a lot of players. Name those players you're talking about. Chris. You said Giannis, Steph Curry. Steph Curry got 3 rings. What's up? He don't get it done in the playoffs.
The problem with James Harden.
Steph Curry beat the Rockets.
There was times where he could not get it done in the playoffs.
The problem with James Harden.
Go ahead, Brian.
The problem with James Harden is he is wore out by the time he gets to the playoffs. He needs to be in a system that doesn't rely on him to do everything. That's the reason why Kevin Durant went to Golden State. He wanted to be in a position to where basketball is easier for him.
That's why I agree with
shots.
I agree with what Chris said about how this is the best team in Houston. He's got John Wall now. He's a playmaker. He passes the ball. And if he can get James Harden, open on the perimeter or to drive or whatever, I think this team could strive on the offensive end, and I think they could possibly make a playoff run.
So we got to see what a wore out James Harden can do.
You got a new coach, man, because this dude plays one style of basketball just like Giannis that don't work in the playoffs. One-on-one that don't work in the playoffs. This dude doesn't do no back doors. This dude doesn't come off no flare screens. He's now on a real offense that doesn't rely on him dribbling.
Right.
So, he could talk about he wants to play good basketball. You could you get traded to all these other teams, and you take away all the players that make them good. You're gonna have to go back to that same style of basketball that have won you nothing.
All right, gentlemen, let's keep it moving. We're about to go to the famous part on Real Talk, something that we do every night. It is our top three. We're going to rank the three, which we're going to give each one of you guys opportunity. The three players are Steph Curry, Dame Dollar, and Luka from Dallas. Chris said in the group chat that his lineup is going to be a lot different from everybody's on the show. So I think we're going to have Chris go last tonight, and I'll go first on this one. Okay. Number one, I'm going Luka. We seen what Luka did last year. Give you 30 points with a triple double. The dude can, he's a team first player, but he can also score whenever he get ready. Any given way he wants to go. My number two player, Dame Dollar. You talking about a dog, a point guard who shows up in the playoffs, you know what, we talking about a player that do not fold in the playoffs? That's Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard shows up in the playoffs. Oh, I think I might have took Chris Brown on Biggs. He's going to give you 30 a night. This dude can shoot the ball. He can shoot in the mid center court. He can do what he do. Then I'm going Steph Curry. Steph Curry, you can't have Damian Lillard without Steph Curry. Steph Curry changed the game. You talking about Steph Curry who could just run up and shoot the three. That dude didn't have center shooting three. So you have to give it to Steph Curry, and that's only being respectful. Landon, rank them. Your top three.
So I'm gonna go number one. I'm gonna go number one being the best, three being the worst. I'm gonna go number one, Steph Curry. I think I'm talking Luka for MVP, but when Steph Curry's healthy, he is the best player in the NBA. I'm gonna say that. I think he's the best player in the NBA when healthy. Best point guard, best player. He's one of the best shooters to ever play it. He changed the game. Number two, I'm gonna go Luka because I do think he'll win the MVP, and he did a lot last year. And number three, I'm gonna go Damian Lillard. I think that's a really hard three to sort. But I'm gonna go Damian Lillard number three.
All right, Brian.
Okay. So number one is gonna be the best all around point guard out of the bunch, and that's gonna be Luka. He got the size where he can defend. He can get his own shot off. Got to be number one. Number two. This is where it gets tricky for me. And I'm going to say Dame Dollar simply because I've seen Steph Curry get bottled up and not be able to get his shot off a little bit more than what I've seen from Dame Dollar. So it's going to be Luka, Dame, Steph. Now, healthy Steph that can just get his shot off regardless, then I have to put him in number two. But at this age, he's going to be number three.
All right, Chris. Me and Brian had the same list. Is yours different?
Here's my list. Number one, I think it should be Luka. I'm going off talent. I'm going off who I'm picking first if I got a draft. Number one, I'm going with Luka. Luka can score like these guys. Luka's a better playmaker. Luka's a better rebounder. He's taller. He's bigger. He can do more with the ball. I know he's younger, but from what I've seen in the playoffs, I love everything from Luka Doncic. He's my number one. Number two, Dame Lillard. I mean, I've been saying this for years. Everybody loves Steph Curry, what he's doing. You put Dame, first of all, everybody act like Dame don't shoot from half court. Steph don't shoot from half court like Dame shoot from half court. I mean, Dame is shooting over 10 threes, 40%. Dame has been shooting, ever since he came into the NBA. When everybody loves Steph Curry, he's changed the game. Dame's been shooting over 6 threes since he came into the league in 2011. So, I love Luka. I love Dame. I love Steph. But Dame's been shooting over 6 threes a game since 2012. I'm sorry, and Dame could do more with the basketball. I think Dame's a better playmaker, a better ball handler. He can score better than Steph Curry. Like I said, you put Steph Curry in a system with Golden State. Dame is doing the exact same thing Steph Curry is doing. Let's look at his systems now. Dame Lillard is in a system where he's getting buckets and the offense isn't even catered towards him. He's just playing through the flow of the offense. Come on, everybody needs to put some more respect on Dame Lillard. Number 3, I have Steph Curry. Now, this is no disrespect to Steph Curry. He definitely did change the game. I mean, he has been shooting a ton of threes. When he won his first MVP, he's shooting, 8, 9 threes. For the past couple of years, he's been shooting more than 9, 10, 11 three-pointers. He definitely changed shooting, made it more popular. But I think Dame Lillard is a far better basketball player than him. I think Luka is the best basketball player out of the bunch. I think it's only going to show this year.
Man, Chris Brown said earlier that his list is going to be different. And it was us, me, you, and Brian had the same list.
I think
That's pretty cool.
It was an obvious list. It was an obvious list. Luka's the best player by far. I'm going off who I want on my team. Luka's the best player by far. Dame can do more with the ball in his hand, can score just as good as Luka, and arguably better than Steph, can get a shot off more than Steph. I love Steph. But, man, I'm sorry, you put Dame in that system, or even Luka in that system, y'all think Steph Curry's doing good things? Just imagine.
All right, man. This is another great episode of Real Talk. Want to thank Landon for coming on the show. Want to welcome Brian to the show. Brian, you can expect this every Mondays and Thursdays. The heat that this Real Talk said bring, and hopefully we get Coach Cam back Thursday, and we're gonna light it up. Chris Brown, thank you for bringing the real, like you always do. Do any of you guys want to say anything else before we close out?
No, thank you for letting me on.
Oh yeah,
Looking forward to the show.
Glad to have you on. You can catch us Mondays and Tuesday at a new time, 8 p.m. Central. So tune in to us 8 p.m. Central. Hey, you guys have a good night. We out of here.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.